Hey guys, it's Kaden, and in today's video, I'm going to be teaching you how to do drop spins on the Sabre. Now, the Sabre is arguably one of the most difficult pieces of equipment that we use in color guard. It's usually reserved for veterans, for people who've already mastered the flag and the rifle, but don't let it scare you. Once you develop the basics of the Sabre, you get to do a lot of fun tricks and tosses, and it's really cool to do. So let's get started. There are two important vocabulary words that you should know for this video, the hilt and the blade. It's also helpful if you see I have this piece of white tape around halfway to a third into my Sabre. This is the balance point of the Sabre. I should theoretically be able to hold my Sabre at that point and it wouldn't tip to one side or the other. So that's extremely helpful. So if you don't have one of those, go ahead and measure it out and tape one onto your Sabre. The starting position for a drop spin on Sabre is fairly simple. Your left hand is going to be palm down, grabbing the top of the hilt, and your right hand is going to be palm up in the middle of your blade, around where you put that white tape, and you're going to hold this about belly button. Same as if you were going to be holding a rifle in the same position. To start the drop spin, you are going to gently push or let go with your left hand, and it's going to rotate. When it gets to about here, you will let go with your hand and then catch it. So it does one full rotation. You should be spinning around where your white marker is. If you notice that you're not spinning where your white marker is, you can go ahead and move it if it's just a little bit. If you notice that you're spinning really far out here, that is not correct. If you notice that you're spinning really far inside, also not correct. I can't even do it. You should be spinning somewhere around the middle, like so. Similar with the rifle, you should be spinning at about waist height. And another trick that's very important is you're going to keep the blade in the pads of your fingers. If you can see, I'm pinching the blade as I spin. Keeping it in your fingers, not the palm of your hand, but inside with your fingers, pinching it. By pinching the blade with your fingers, this prevents spawning. Spawning basically means that your Sabre is rotating in the air in the opposite direction, opposite axes of what you want. Spawning is ugly, so we do our best to avoid it. So go ahead and try a couple on your own. Now that you've learned the basic movement of a drop spin on Sabre, I'm going to go ahead and teach you the ending position once you finish however many number drop spins you were supposed to do. For me, we're going to pretend that it's 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. On the last one, I'm going to let it flip and then catch it with both hands at the same time in the same exact location as when I started, except my hands are going to be reversed. So my left hand will be palm down underneath the hilt with the thumb on the edge, and my right hand is going to be palm down on top of the blade, grabbing it in the same, or it's supposed to be in the same position as where you started. And it should also be about the same height as where you started, which would be your belly button. So let me show you that again. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and catch. Now, it's very important that you catch with both your hands at the same time. This is what makes it look cool. This is what it makes it look strong. And also, when you are working on a team, this is what makes sure that all of your movements are together and not looking like a mess. So, yeah. Next, I'm going to be teaching you how to do drop spins on the left side. They are very similar in concept. The only difference is that you're going to be rotating the blade to the other direction. So your Sabre should now look like this with the hilt facing up. Your left hand this time is going to be palm down near your white tape. Your right hand is going to be palm down on top of the hilt. And then the same general concept, you're going to gently push or just let go with your right hand, bringing that right hand down to your thigh. I didn't mention this before, but it is very important, and it's a good thing to remember while you're practicing. You want your right hand to stay at your side at all times, or if you're doing right hand drop spins, your left hand to be at your side at all times. Basically, whatever hand isn't spinning, you don't want it to be floating up. A lot of people have tendencies to spin with their hand out here, to spin with their hand up, to spin with their hand out here, and it's just not very cute. It's also distracting from the movement that your equipment is doing. So it's important that you keep your hand glued to your thigh at all times when it's not being used otherwise. Okay, so with that, let's go ahead and get back to the motion. So you're gonna push down gently with your right hand, let it rotate with your left hand until you feel comfortable enough to let go. Now the first couple times it's okay if you wanna let it go a little higher to get the movement, but eventually you want to be spinning right at your hip. When you practice drop spins, especially on the left side, it's very important that you start slow. A lot of newbies will think that they have drop spins down because they can spin really fast, but typically those same people also spin really ugly, and they don't have the proper technique when building up to the next skill. So it's just very important. Practice slow, record yourself, watch in the mirror, make sure that you're really developing the technique before you're developing the speed. It's true what they say, quality over quantity. It exists in color guard too. And then when you're ready to learn the end position, it's the same concept as in the right hand. Your left hand is going to be in the same position as it was when we first started, with the palm facing down around your white tape. Your right hand is going to be palm up underneath the hilt with your thumb on the side, and you should be catching in about the same spot that you started. So there is a warm-up exercise that goes along with the Sabre drop spins that I'm going to be teaching you in a little bit. But before we get there, I need to teach you the transition on how you go from your right hand drop spins to your left hand drop spins. So right now, I'm in the position of my right hand drop spins. If you forgot what that position is, then go ahead and go back to the beginning of this video and catch up on it, and then you can jump back to here so we can get started. Alright, so I'm going to pretend that I'm almost done with my drop spins. So we'll go 5, 6, 7, 8, and catch. Then, the next step, this is kind of tricky, so I'm going to go ahead and explain it while doing it, and then I will do it from another angle slowly so you can get the full picture. I'm going to bring up the hilt of my sword, holding onto it with the right hand, and I'm going to rotate it with my fingers. If you didn't see that, I'll go ahead and do it from this direction. The trees are kind of hard to see. I bring up the right hand, my sword, saber with the right hand, and I rotate the blade. So now the curved part of the hilt is facing that way, and the solid part of the hilt is facing this way. Okay? And I'll go ahead and do that from this angle again. We are going to bring up the hilt with our right hand and rotate it so that the curved part is facing to your left and the straight, heavy part is facing to your right. Then you're going to drop it into your left hand, like so. So your palm will be up, and you're going to insert the saber in between your thumb and your first finger. Then you're going to let go. And now you can start your left hand drop spins. Does it seem scary? Don't worry about it. I'll go ahead and show it to you again. That way you can really get the hang of it. And if you're having a lot of difficulties, then feel free to pause the video, go back a little bit until you can really get the transition down. Alright, so I've done 5, 6, 7, 8 drop spins on my right hand, and now I've finished. I'm going to bring the hilt up with my right hand. Right now, the curved part is facing my right, and the flat, heavy part is facing my left. I'm going to rotate the saber in my fingers, so now the curved part is facing the left. I'm going to take my left hand, palm up, and grab underneath my right hand, very close underneath, because now I'm going to let go with my right hand, and my left hand can start spinning. I will say it is a little difficult to do slow, just because it is such a smooth transition. But definitely take it slow while you're getting the concept down, and don't feel unsure about your drop spins, because it definitely starts right away. Another side note I want to add here is that a lot of teams have specific ways that they want to transition from the right to the left. I have been taught 3 different ways, and this one is my personal favorite just because I feel like it's a very smooth transition in between, and it doesn't waste a lot of counts during the warm-up. So that's why I'm teaching you this one. Now that transition only works one direction, so I'm going to go ahead and teach you how to do it on the left hand. It's the same concept as on the right hand. It's just going to be in reverse because we're holding the saber with our left hands now. So we're going to pretend that I finished 5, 6, 7, 8 drop spins in the left hand and I've ended. I'm going to this time bring the saber up with my left hand. Note, I bring up the saber in the opposite direction, and also note that this curved part of the hilt is facing my left now. I'm going to rotate it in my hand, so now it is facing the right. My right hand is going to be palm up, and I'm going to put the saber in between my thumb and first finger, right underneath my left hand, where I will let the saber drop, and I can begin my right hand drop spins. I think it's pretty cool. I don't know if you do, but that's okay. Now that we've learned the motion of the transitions on both sides, I'm going to teach you the counts of the transition, and then we're going to put together the whole exercise as a whole. I'll run it with you a couple of times, and then you get to take it home and practice on your own. So, here we go. The counts of the transition are very simple. Typically, we wait 4 counts in between our right hand and our left hand drop spins. But for this purpose, in teaching you, we're going to go ahead and leave 8 counts in between. So this is going to be the transition from right to left. So we pretend 5, 6, 7, 8 drop spins, we end. We're going to go ahead and hold 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You're going to bring it up and rotate at the same time. 8, you're going to grab and it drops, and then you're back into 1, 2, 3, 4. We go ahead and show you again on this side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Stop. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Note that I did both of those steps at the same time. So as you bring it up, you want to rotate it with your fingers, like so. 7, 8, 1. So 8. Your blade is going to be down. You're going to let your blade, or your hilt, I guess in this case, your hilt will be towards the ground. Now let's try the whole exercise as a whole. We're going to start by doing 8 drop spins on the right hand. Then we're going to wait 8 counts and do our transition to the left hand. We're going to do 8 drop spins on the left hand, wait 8 counts, do the transition, 8 counts on the right hand, stop, wait, do the transition, and then 8 counts on the left hand, and then we'll stop. Alright, here we go. Make sure you are at a strong standing position. Your feet should be in second position, or shoulder width apart if you don't know what second position means. Make sure you have your strong stance. We're getting ready to do our right hand drop spins. 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Up, down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Up, down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and hit. Great job today, guys. I hope that this video helped a little bit in teaching you how to do the drop spins on the saber. Make sure that you check out some of our other videos that are going to be teaching you technique on rifle, saber, and flag, as well as some of the choreography videos that me and Roselle are coming up with. Thanks for watching.